Hey everybody, it's time for another real life superhero RLSH video debut for my rant on past current events, terrible and shitty people, and defense of great people widely considered to be terrible people in various communities, especially the Afro-American community. I decided that this is the first of two. I decided to do two because there are two intro songs I wanted to use. But I also wanted to use the Sonic What I'm Made Of, my actual theme for these type of videos. So I decided to do two with the same costume. The second one will be uploaded immediately after this one. And in the part two portions, I'll use either intro. Depends on the video and the song I think best fits the video. So with that being said, it's time for me to make my grand entrance. Along with Sonic What I'm Made Of, I'm going to be using popular professional wrestler Jeff Hardy's Impact Wrestling theme, his 2010 Modest to the Top remix. The next time I'm going to use similar creatures, and my taunts and mannerisms will be similar to Jeff Hardy, Teddy Hart, and the alpha male Monty Brown, and of course Sonic the Hedgehog, and of course Street Fighter. So with that being said, let me get started right now. Let's show these people what I'm made of.
Let me show you who I am, what I'm here for. Hey, trying to reach inside of me, trying to take my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of. Simple curiosity, trying to take no part of me. Let me show you just what I'm made of now. My destiny is to the top. My destiny is at the top. Still my destiny is past the top. Straight to the top, and then keep heading up. Things start shining why we should go. Know what is real and how it is still the only way to feel the dance and the feel the feel. There's a lot of time to get ready to showcase. This will show it your life. Show how this time is the best life. Show a way to make it right. Make it to the top of the mountain. Show the until you feel there's nothing more for you to say. I'm not even getting my way. Come down. If you do, you'll be back home. My destiny is to the top. My destiny is at the top.
It's time for a video I've been meaning to do for a long time, but I wasn't sure how I should do it. And it's time for my very first rant on fraudulent people in brown and Afro-American communities as a real life superhero. This will be one of the first rants on social current issues, terrible or shitty people videos that I will be doing on screen for the first time in a long time. So yeah, and today I'm going to be briefly ranting on each of these people right here. Will get their own larger rants, but I'm going to be ranting on the following people I consider to be terrible and fraudulent people, and I wish more people would call them out on. And there's one certain person that I wish people would pay more attention to and actually get this person arrested. And that person is, number one, is Patrisse Cullors, the former activist of Black Lives Matter, who defrauded the American people out of $92 million in donations. And she's still free. After committing a crime like that. Then the next one is Dr. Umar Johnson, where really no one, except for other than YouTubers and social media personalities, no one has called him out on his fraudulent ways, defrauding multiple people out of thousands and millions of dollars. Out of thousands and millions of dollars, when he was supposed to be building a school. Sorry, I got distracted by something in the background. Millions of dollars, which he was supposed to be using it to build a school, which he has yet to do, but he's done multiple other things with the money since then. Then you got this guy right, and then you got Willie D. He's the only one they ever did. He's the only fraudulent person they did catch. They did put away briefly. He committed some kind of crime in 2010 and was briefly locked up for it. Then you got the next guy, Tariq Nasheed. Now, unlike the others, Tariq Nasheed doesn't get on my nerves. Tariq Nasheed, he doesn't piss me off like the other ones on this list do, but he's another fraudulent person too, who needs to be called out more. And then you got Willie D's friend, fellow rapper Professor Griff. So yeah. With that being said, let me make my way on camera to finish this video. Yes, like I said earlier. Yes, so yeah, the very first one is Patrisse Cullors. I've done multiple videos on this. The links to watch those previous ones will be in the description box below. This was the former Black Lives Matter leader who instigated numerous riots and raised a bunch of money in the name of George Floyd, Mike Brown, George Floyd, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, and many other people who lost, many other Afro Americans who lost their lives at the hands of white police officers. She raised up to $92 million and did not give any of it to the families of Mike Brown, George Floyd, or anyone, and or even the communities, the communities. Instead, she spent the money on hookers, mansions, video camera technology, multiple things. She spent it on multiple things and gave it to a bunch of people except the people she was supposed to be donating it to. Then she had the audacity. To say her mansions will be a arts and craft place for Afro Americans. Well, when Candace Owens showed up there to confront her about her fraudulent ways, she had the audacity to play the victim and claim claim Candace attacked her, and then in her management, her security, she had the audacity to hire white people. She's so pro-black, yet she couldn't give a job to a single brother. She called her security on another Afro-American in Candace who was exposing her, played the victim, developed crocodile tears. You can see various videos of people reacting to that online. But the point is, she did this, and then when she confronted about it both times, firstly, she took the coward's way out and resigned from Black Lives Matter. Yes, she's the former president or co-leader of Black Lives Matter. Then the second thing she did was even worse. When it was brought to her attention again, she had the audacity to deny the allegations, but did admit to hosting one of the parties at the mansions. I hate this woman. This woman right here makes me glad that real life superheroes and costume neighborhood watch people exist, because they are needed, especially for people like her. But it also makes me mad because no real life superhero, no costume neighborhood watch person is going after her and making her admit to what she does, and turning her over to the police. I want to go to that woman's property. And drag her out, beat the living daylights out of her, and bring her before the people, and force her to admit to her wrong. But yeah, this is another reason why I criticize and will never stand with Afro Americans, especially pro-blacks and N-words on anything. Because the times when we should come together, as people, we can't do it. You people are too busy angry about Kanye West and Candace Owens wearing White Lives Matter t-shirts, but you let this woman get away with stealing $92 million.
Anything, and it's just like ridiculous. But I was just wondering. Yes, ma'am.
Number two is Candace. Number two is she's the biggest one, and the cops. She's the biggest one. That's why I mentioned her first. And the cops really IRS, anyone needs to really investigate and see some of that money and property, man. Number two, Dr. Umar Johnson. Done with Umar Johnson.
I never got it.
Right after Patrice Cullors, the biggest fraudulent person in the Afro-American community and the biggest clown. It's almost funny with this guy until you realize what he's doing and getting away with. This guy this guy calls himself a doctor. This guy calls himself a doctor, but all he is a YouTube social media personality and actor, just like me, but who doesn't have any sort of real job outside of YouTube, except his job is just is being online, begging money, and he uses Afro-American history and culture as his hustle. Every time he's in a historic, monumental place, he always mentions the big time Afro-American person or incident associated with that place. Yeah, one time he was in a place Rosa Parks graced, and he tried to bring up how great we're in the place of Rosa Parks, something like that. He's always talking about his ancestors. He's always bragging about his ancestors in every video, and once again just trying to be pro-black. Yet you never ever see him actually doing anything for pro-blacks, and this is not important. But he's trying to be pro-black, yet he has a look similar to a mobster, similar to Marion Suge Knight, the former CEO of Death Row, yet he's trying to be pro-black. And speaking of that, he's trying to be pro-black, yet he once took a picture with a group of Compton Crips, gangsters, thugs. One of the many detrimental and biggest threats to Afro-American communities. He took pictures with them, but routinely calls out people like Sotomayor and many more. Routinely calls them coons and stuff. But let's get to his crime. He's supposed to for years now, and I hear he's been doing this since. He's been pulling this since 2007. I was still in high school when this happened. He was supposed to be funding. He online and asked people for money and donations to build a school for Afro Americans. It has been 15 years, about to be actually 16 now. 16 years, almost 16 plus years, and he has not built the school. Instead, he spent money on various other things. He once took a vacation to Japan. I heard he spent the money on strippers, and it also heard he gambled the money. He gambled the money away, and then had the audacity to ask for more donations. Donations. Like I said, this guy's the biggest clown and joke, and it would be funny when you look at what he's getting away with. Yes, the IRS and the police need to look at him too. Third guy was supposed to be Willie D, but let's do Tariq Nasheed first. Tariq Nasheed, unlike the others, this one doesn't piss me off. This guy actually makes me laugh. This guy makes me laugh a lot. He's the biggest joke in Afro-American communities. Personally, I only know of Tariq Nasheed because of my guy Tommy Sotomayor. Is pretty much like they're pretty much rivals and enemies. Tommy Sotomayor has mentioned him a lot. Then I looked up Tariq Nasheed, and then this guy's the biggest joke ever. He was once a gangster style rapper, and then later adopted the name Tariq Nasheed and became that. Like this lame pro-black was always preaching pro-black and trying to claim everything. And he produces DVDs called Hidden Colors. He produces hidden DVDs called Hidden Colors, where he tries to claim Afro-Americans were responsible for everything in the world. Every big time period where something monumental happened, he tries to attach Afro-Americans to it. And everything bad that happened in the world that Afro-Americans were somewhat or a part of, he tries to downsize that, and it's laughable. In his Black Panther, I can't believe I'm telling you something like this. In his Black Panther review, he tried to tie Black Panther to real life. He tried to tie Black Panther to real life, and it was just hilarious, man. It was just hilarious. He was trying to try this comic book movie cartoon to real life. Then I used to do stuff like that, and I can't believe I'm telling him that it's just a cartoon. It has nothing to do with him or anyone. But anyway, he, despite being a millionaire, he hasn't paid several people for their work in the producing the Hidden Colors DVDs, and he routinely, all he does is talk into a webcam, and despite being a millionaire, has people donate money to him, and he even lies about what he does with the money. He, according to Keyboard Musician, one of the many people who calls out these frauds, he supposedly bailed out activists when there's no records of him bailing out any actors or bailing anyone out of jail. All he does is take money from people. Well, like I said, that's nothing. That's not like illegal, but it's just another fraudulent human being. Then you got Willie D, the only one they caught. Willie D is every terrible and negative stereotype of Afro-Americans, and is even though Patrice Cullors and Dr. Umar Johnson have done more heinous crimes than Willie D. Willie D is every negative stereotype that is almost funny. It would be, but people actually, what problem I have with Willie D is people actually consider him and these other three be heroes in Afro-American communities when they're everything terrible about Afro-Americans. Willie D is a lame, washed-up rapper and boxer trying to stay relevant by now using pro-black hustle. This guy, this youth, in his music, he preached about thugging and being gangster. Now trying to fake positive, trying to be all pro-black, and he doesn't really do anything to help Afro-American communities. All he does is sit around the webcam, asking you to join his pointless movement, which, like Keyboard Musician said, has never gotten anything done, or anything, and has no track record or anything. All he does is join the movement, which is you paying him to talk in front of a webcam, and also get money via partnerships, because he's washed up. Not only is he washed up, but he's mismanaged his money and tried to go solo. And even before his rap career, idiot got expelled for fighting and never returned to school, which is another reason he has to do this. Had he went to school and got his education, he'd probably be better now than he was. He would probably be better now. He would probably be better and more self-proficient, where he went after talking on webcam to get money, where his whole job and career relies on YouTube. Yeah, I eventually want to use YouTube to get paid, but I want other things, other jobs and other things outside of YouTube first. I don't want my whole I don't want my whole job in life to revolve around YouTube, even though my livelihood does revolve around YouTube and social media. My business and everything revolves around social media. I don't want just to be solely a guy on YouTube and asking people for money. I don't want to do that. I will never do that unless you get some kind of disease or some kind of cancer that can't be paid for with regular bills, with regular bills or salary that I actually need a donation for. That's the only thing I will accept donations for, myself or someone else. If someone else closest to me had it. Yeah. But anyway, go back to Willie D. And like I said, the only other thing he does is call out other Afro-Americans. Other Afro-Americans, call them disgraces, coons, and every word who don't agree with him and are more successful than him. I have a bigger rant for Willie D much later in a different costume. My boxing combat vehicle and ball sports costume later. But this is just a short one right here. Then you got his friend Professor Griff, who was briefly associated with Public Enemy, but was fired from the group for his anti-Semitic ways. Then he tried to find his own group. He tried to start his own group. This never took off. Or did anything. And now, some years later, then he decided. Then now he's another old guy. He's even older than Willie D. 60-something years old. Now trying to be pro-black. And just like Willie D, his crappy movement. It's just him talking. It's just him talking to a webcam, asking you to give him money because he mismanaged his money. In the past and is broke now. And he at one point retired from rapping and said he would never rap again. But then, when the time was right, when Ice-T offered him the chance to rap, he quickly came out to rap because he needed the money. And another thing, him and Willie D and all these people, their hustle is to talk about tragedies that happen in the world. Because they know if something bad unfortunately happens every several minutes, there's something bad happening in the world. So what do? They just sit around and talk about it. And YouTube keyboard musician, which the links to his channel and videos will be in the description box below. His videos are 4 to 5 years old now, but they're still relevant. 4 to 5 plus years later, and they're still relevant today. And they just sit around and talk about it, When he made an interesting point, this made me respect the real life superheroes, the costume neighborhood watch people, and many more important people in the world who the goal is to go out here and prevent these things from happening, not just to talk about it. And then people, Willie D and Professor Griff, say stuff like, "Oh, we're just trying to make people aware." Once again, we're already aware. We've been aware. We've known these stuff happen. The goal is to prevent these things from happening. The groups of people I just mentioned, the real life superheroes and costume neighborhood watch people, and many more important people in the world, they try to stop these terrible things from happening. So these are my rants on the fraudulent people. For Willie D and some of them, there will be larger individual rants later. And there are some people I forgot about, but I just couldn't include them all without this video becoming way too long. Alright, I'm finished for now. You don't want to hear the rest of the music? Turn the video off right now.
Like a million faces, I recognize them all. you say you're looking for. Let me show you who I am and what I have in store. In store. Hey, hey, yeah. Trying to reach inside of me. Trying to drain my energy. Let me show you what I'm made of. Simple curiosity. Trying to signify to me. Let me show